We're heroes and we're pioneers, and we're beggars and we're choosers. We're skirting around the edges of the ideal demographic. We're almost on the guest list, but we're always stuck in traffic.
My parents were really not pleased with my career choice for quite some time, but my mum's really kind of come around to it recently. And actually, we've got this thing. I'm from a town called Winchester in the south of the UK, and I did a hometown show there on the last tour I did, and it's like the town like art centre, and they had this. It's one of those venues that kind of has like the posters like in a glass case, like outside the front of the venue. Do you know what I mean? Like a cinema or whatever.
Yeah.
And the poster for the show they had is a really big poster. It's got a shot of me in it, and it's just a tiny, like 5% bigger than life size, right? And my mum came down to the show, she had a good time, she got hammered, kind of barged into the box office and was like, I'm having that fucking poster, he's my son. So they gave her the poster, and in the downstairs bathroom in my mum's house, which is a little room, she stuck it up on the wall. So the thing is, you're standing there having a piss, and it's just a tiny bit bigger than real. And which is just really, I mean, it would be freaky enough if it was just life size, but the fact that it's just a tiny bit bigger. It's really, I mean, I find it weird, but like friends of mine, like who come around to my mum's house or whatever, kind of like come out of the toilet looking really disturbed. It's just like, I'm not cool about that, man. That's not cool. The American punk scene is something I'm sort of intrigued by in a way, because there's nothing like it in the UK. The punk scene in the UK is kind of small and fractious and very bitchy and all the rest of it. And the fact that like in America they have like punk rock bowling and stuff like that, you know, and it's really kind of like familial in a way, do you know what I mean? Is, I think it's really cool actually, and there's just nothing like that in the UK. And it's funny as well because like everybody knows everybody, and it's kind of like once you kind of get in with some of that crowd, then everybody's into it. So like I did a show at Pennywise not so long ago, and they knew who I was and like had my album and stuff, and it was just like, really? Like, oh my god, you know, I used to worship Pennywise when I was a kid. So yeah, I mean it's been great. I mean it's kind of cool. It's almost in a way like there's a ready-made kind of audience there in a way. Having said all that, one of the kind of things that me and my team, as it were, are kind of like looking at for this year is, it's emphatic that it's not kind of being against the punk scene or down on the punk scene or anything like that, but it's kind of like, I don't want to just be the token acoustic guy in the punk scene, do you know what I mean? So it's like, we're looking at trying to sort of get out and get to more like folk festivals, tour with like other kind of non-punk rock singer-songwriters and stuff like that, just because, you know, I think I can appeal outside of the punk scene, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, like I say, it's in no way a rejection of that or whatever. That's definitely, you know, my background and where I'm from and all the rest of it. But you know, I'd love to tour with, I don't know, being ambitious about it, like Elvis Costello or something like that as well. You know, as well as touring with Volume White. So, you know, we'll see. But I mean, it's been amazing. Like, and as I say, I grew up with that scene, so I had this one particular patch of last year where it was like, it seemed like every week I kept meeting another person who I idolised when I was younger, or still do, or whatever. And it was just started getting a bit weird after a while. Like Tim Armstrong came and hung out on one of my shows, and like I was like, and I met the guys from Converge. Like I did a house show, and they showed up, and it was just like. And it was really funny as well because this guy came in and he got introduced to me as Nate, and he looked just like Nate from Converge, and then I was like, and I'm in Massachusetts, and it was just like, and I kind of was just watching him for like ages, going, and eventually I was like, I've got to do it. So I went over and I was like, are you in a band? And he was like, oh, I'm in a couple of bands, and I was like, wow, which ones? And he was like, I'm in a band called Doom Riders, and I was like, Converge, you're in fucking Converge! Converge! At which point, like, Jake and Kurt walked in as well, and it was just like, I had a total fanboy moment. It was great. And we ended up hanging out for a couple of days, and like, Jake's really into UFC. I never even heard of UFC before, and I ended up watching like this UFC like marathon of matches next to Jake from Converge. He was drinking like a wheatgrass shake and going, yeah, come on! I was like, okay, whatever, dude. But yeah, they're really, really nice guys and everything. So yeah, it's pretty sweet, pretty good.
Lost feelings, about fire in our bellies, about flooding little feelings, and the aching amplitudes that set our needles on a flickering. They help us to remembering.
enjoyed it, got in touch. It was really funny actually, we were in the middle of negotiating, because at that time, beginning of last year, I had a deal for the UK and pretty much nowhere else, and we were kind of looking to get my records out in the States and in Europe and in everywhere basically. And there was this whole thing with, I didn't want to leave my English label because I like my family, actually my recordings, and it was like, we had all these deals on the table that involved me leaving them, and I was like, fucking no way, do you know what I mean? Loyalty's important. And there was actually one occasion where we had what is by my standards a fucking gigantic major label deal on the table, and I turned it down, and it was one of those things where you hang up the phone, and then you pause and you think, this right now might be the moment I spend the rest of my life regretting. Do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's happened now. And then Brett got in touch because the kind of my record kind of made its way through the company and got into his hands, and he called me up actually out of the blue, like which was really weird. I called from an unknown number on my phone. I was like, hello, and he's like, hi, this is Brett Gurewitz, and I was like, really? And he was just really into it, and like he totally got where I was coming from with the whole thing of like wanting to stick with my English label, and and he's a good dude, and he cares a lot about music, and he's really great because he's like, hey, it's my fucking company, I'll do whatever I want, do you know what I mean? And there's a lot of, it's really interesting, there's a lot of people who work for Epitaph who used to work for like other labels and then came to work for Epitaph and have been there for like 10 years. It's really like people who work there love it, there's a lot of loyalty, and I think, from my point of view, it's been an amazing experience being with them. They've just been really, really good. So thumbs up for Epitaph, basically. I had this surreal thing in September last year. I had this really hectic week, and I did this thing where it's like I did a show in the UK and I did a show in Germany and a show in Jersey, which is a Channel Island between England and France, and then I flew straight from Jersey to LA, and it was just like there's no fucking idea what time of day it was anymore. And I arrived in LA. And I got picked up at the airport by one of the Epitaph guys, and we drove over to Brett's mansion in Beverly Hills, where he has a swimming pool that's like on the edge of the hill, so you sit in the edge of the swimming pool and you can like see the whole of LA. And I kind of, really kind of spaced out with jet lag and everything, kind of walked up the driveway, and Brett like just threw me a pair of swimming trunks, and he was like, get in the pool, how'd you like your burgers, kind of thing. And I was like, I'm in a fucking pool in Los Angeles, and Brett Gurewitz is cooking me a burger. Check this shit out, motherfucker. That was, and I kind of sat there and I was like, yeah, living the dream, man. Do you know what I mean? Living the fucking dream. So that was it.